What is going on, everybody? UFC 319 officially in the books. As you can see, I shaved my beard because I was starting to look like a bum. And then after the going 6-6 last night, I was feeling like a bum. And so, yeah, decided to give it a shave, start fresh. 6-6, I mean, it's been worse. I tell myself I never want to go under 500 for the pick overall. Just, yeah, the props weren't great. The parlays weren't great. There was a few fights where it's like, I feel like I'm missing by a small margin. There's a few fights that could have cashed if maybe the slightest things had changed. And then there's also just some bad advice along the mix as well. So let's look at what was good. Let's look at what was bad and then figure out where to go from here. So starting off, we've got Joseph Morales versus Alibi Idris. And yeah, I mean, let's kick this thing off with some bad advice right off the top. I don't know why I thought Idris would be a lot better than that. I mean, again, when you look at his regional scene, record and you watch some of the tape on him, it's like this guy looks like he's physically strong. It looked like he's got good scrambles. It looks like he can strike. He was just coming on The Ultimate Fighter where he, had looked pretty good on the show. It's a 5-1 favorite when this fight got announced. We didn't break it down on the preview show, but he beat down on Tuesday because I don't think there was anything announced for it. But yeah, this thing was not close at any point. Again, here's a kid that's undefeated at 10-0, and he's fought in good guys with good records, most in Kazakhstan. But of course, they brought in a bunch of Brazilian guys, and he's always looked pretty solid. Against Joseph Morales, it was like a full-grown man versus a kid. Morales looked good, man. Now, mind you, Morales is a weird one. He's on The Ultimate Fighter, but he's actually a 3-fight UFC veteran already. He's fought for World Series of Fighting. He's competed against good guys. Davidson Figueiredo went on to go win a world championship. Eric Sheldon, no idea why they cut Eric Sheldon, but he's currently on a 5-fight winning streak and probably going to make his way back to the UFC as well. So this guy just had a lot of veteranness to him, and that ended up being the biggest difference maker. Hadn't fought as a professional, because of course he fought on the Ultimate Fighter exhibitions. He hadn't fought professionally over 2 years. He had debatable split decision win over Sidamar Honorio back in 2022. Like, he hadn't been active, and I think there was enough reasons to doubt that he was going to be in top form, but Joseph Morales absolutely put it on him. The first round, it's like significant strikes will say that Idris was able to outland him. But honestly, it was Joseph Morales' takedown game. I mean, the stand up in the bit, it's like, okay, Joseph Morales is finding his range. And then once he starts shooting on him, here's a guy that's trained a long time with Team Alpha Male, Uriah Faber. You saw how emotional Faber was in his corner for him. Came in with a good game plan. And when he started grappling with Idris, he was the bigger man. He was physically stronger. He had better technique. And he just really floated on him. At no point did I overly felt that Idris was competitive in this fight. The second round, Morales has beaten him up standing. Okay. You saw in the first round, he's able to take him down and beat him up. He's beating him up in every facet of mixed martial arts: standing, grappling, top control. Finally, one little moment for Idris. He reverses and ends up on top. It's his first little bit of top control. It's his first chance to maybe, hey, I lost the first round. The second round, there's still 2.5 minutes left. I can get it back. I'm on top. I'm losing standing. This is the best position I could be. And Morales just puts on a triangle that looks like it happened in slow motion. And this kid just has no idea how to defend, no idea how to get out of the way. It was a very young green prospect is what he looked like, versus a guy that had already been cut from the UFC, made his way back, just more tools in the bag, physically more mature. I was way off on this one. Joseph Morales looked very, very good. Idris, it wasn't even like, hey man, Morales looked real good, you'll be back. I thought he looked awful. His striking is not like, he's not sitting down on his punches. He's not throwing in combination. What he is doing is like looking to throw one, and then when you look to counter, he'd like react. He's throwing spinning back fists that he's not setting up. It's that he's physically turning his back to you. And then as you're charging in from the backside, he's throwing it, but like no real intentions on it. He's flopping. The second he gets top control, he immediately gets triangle choked. His takedown defense was no good. His striking defense was no good. His cardio did not look good. His physicality did not look good. I'm down with fighters from Kazakhstan. These guys bring a lot of great things to the table. Idris felt like watching the tape, he's going to bring all those elements to the table. And like, well, Kazakhstan ain't Russia, clearly. He just got beat up quite literally in every area, but you can't cheapen the win from Joseph Morales that just put on a career best performance. That one didn't kill me. There was other ones later on that killed me, but it was not a great way to start the night, obviously. Silva versus Dion Barbosa. Earlier in the week, I said, well, why not just take the dogger pass shot on Barbosa. She's already fought Karine Silva once. She's beaten her previously by decision. I was very adamant to Paul as well. Taking the over 2.5 would probably be the most cautious approach to this one. It's a women's MMA fight. They've already fought once and it's gone to decision. And the over 2.5 is only minus 225. So, like, compared to other women's MMA over 2.5s, which are minus 450, minus 550, sometimes it's minus 650 if it's a Carol Rosa or Angela Hill type spot. This felt like a good price, and yet this fight had a couple near finishes, but for the most part, it was just very, very tightly contested. I end up flipping back to Karine Silva, not back to. I flipped the pick from Barbosa to Karine Silva after weigh-ins, simply because Barbosa did look awful on the scales. She had the curtain, although 10 fighters on the card had the curtain. Physically, she looked drawn out. She took the fight on about a week's notice. Yeah, she's fought this girl before and beaten her, but it's years back. You're now 33. You're on short notice. You look bad on the scales. I don't love this minus 195 Karine Silva, but switch back and then took the over. Now, this one's debated that everyone thinks it's a robbery, apparently. I don't necessarily agree. It was a close fight. It was a close fight that could have been a split decision towards a Dion Barbosa, or could have been a unanimous decision, depending on how you score it. But yeah, the first round, she wins all day long, right? She landed the better shot. She was able to take her down. From that take, she had a nasty armbar attempt. First, she's looking for the rear naked. There's not much to it. The armbar attempt with 5-6 seconds left. It's tight. It looks good. It looks like Karini's going to stack and get out of it. But this is by all means a Dion Barbosa first round, 100%. The second round, Karine Silva gets the takedown. And although they both, got a takedown, they both had some time of some grappling time. Karine Silva just seemed to be like she was landing a little bit harder, or she was a little bit more in control. I scored the second round for her, although as you can see from the margins, there's not much to it. Now, a lot of the time people will say, well, the significant strikes is 9-7. And Barbosa actually had 2.5 minutes of control time as opposed to 1.5 for Karine. Again, this one's a total strike situation. By the total strikes, you've doubled her up 49-23. And so even though someone's saying this is not significant, it's constant work. It's constant. I'm trying to hit you. You got almost a minute, more than a minute, more of control time than I did. And yet you landed less than half the amount of total strikes. So yeah, I did think Karine Silva won that second round. The third round, this is an interesting round to score. So again, by the total strikes, it's a slight edge for Barbosa, or by the significant strikes. By the totals, it's a slight edge for Karine Silva. The takedown went to Dion. Dion had 2 minutes of control time. Dion had a reverse. They both had one. To me, it's the submission attempts. And I mentioned this 2.5. The reason I keep bringing that up is because I'm watching it with my buddy, and when Karine Silva slapped on that Dars choke, which was literally just right over that 2.5, so I'm like, oh my god, I panicked. I was like, oh my god, it was good attempt. It was tight. It did not submit her, but she tried it. She had 2 good submission attempts in that round. Still managed to slightly outstrike her by the total numbers. And then the round ends. So how do you score? It's 1-1 going into the third. Barbosa won the first round. Karine won the second round. The third round could go either way, but Karine had 2 submission attempts. And she says it post-fight. She's like, well, I don't know why they're booing. Like, she says, I almost finished her 3 times that round. By the way, I love the interpreter. He could have just said, she says, I don't know why they're boring. I finished it 3 times that round. He's like, she says, I don't know why they're boring. I almost finished it 3 times that round. Like, he's getting into it. I'm getting into it. And I don't disagree with her point. I had 2 legitimate submission attempts, and I still managed to slightly outstrike her by the totals. We both had a reversal. We both had a bit of control time, but I'm trying to sub somebody. I'm going for it. And, and she's mostly just trying to get on top of me and have some control time. In no way, shape, or form is it a robbery. If Dion Barbosa wins the fight, it's fair game. If Karine Silva wins the fight, it's fair game. It's a close fight. It's a close fight that came to the third round. And you can't tell me that Dion Barbosa infinitely did more in the third round. It was about the same. Feels like it was about the same. Submission attempts for one girl, a little more striking, control time for the other girl. Well, I think Karine did enough to win this thing. So she does. Let me just see real quick. 1 second here. MMA decisions. Karine. Should have checked this maybe this morning. Bam. Share this tab instead. Barbosa. The media says mostly Silva. But there are a few people that say Barbosa, and I agree, that's what a close fight looks like. The fans got the vast majority of them, not vast majority, 58%, it's more than half. And of course, there's 28% of the people that thought Barbosa won on, well, actually, the 10% of people actually thought Barbosa won all 3 rounds, but those are fan votes, so, like, there's some bias there, there's some other shit. The bottom line is that as you can see, there's argument for both sides, people agreed on both sides. It's the commentating, it's the John Anik, it's the Joe Rogan, it's the Daniel Cormier, it's the I can't believe the state of MMA judging, and I cannot believe that they scored it like that, and I cannot, like, and John Anik's my favorite. I think he sounds the best. I think he's the most knowledgeable. I think he's the most passionate. I shit on a lot of the commentators. I like Bisman because he's funny, but like I don't like Dominic Cruz. I don't like Joe Rogan. I certainly don't like Daniel Cormier. I very much don't care for Paul Felder, all from an announcement standpoint. John Anik is my guy. But sometimes Anik takes this approach, and he even said to Daniel Cormier after the Joseph Morales said, wait, it's 10-1 for submission? He says, yes. So then Daniel Cormier says, so if I put $100 on Joseph Morales by submission, I would have won $1,000. And John Anik says, yes, but you're contractually obligated that you cannot bet. And it's like, okay, so he knows he can't bet. And sometimes he takes this approach where he lost money on the fight, where this is a very close fight, could have gone either direction. And then he cries like he lost money on it. Like, I can't believe the state of MMA judging. And he gets Joe Rogan, who's very knowledgeable in some things. Daniel Cormier is extremely knowledgeable in some things. Neither guy's a great broadcaster. Neither guy knows how to judge a fight. So to say it's such a robbery, then you have the public thinking it's some great robbery. It's not. It's not. It was a very fucking close fight. Anyways, let's move on. We got Edson Barbosa versus Drakkar Klose. There's a lot of plays I did not get on this card that, it wasn't for like a lack of effort. It's just things didn't shake out. This was a good fight. Edson Barbosa did lots in all rounds. It's just the bigger moments were coming from Drakkar Klose. The first round, he outstruck him 24-15 by the significance. But again, when you look at the totals, it's like Drakkar Klose is outworking him. He's, he would land some good combinations every now and again that would hurt Barbosa. Not wobble him, not stank you like this guy, not put him on the ropes. It's just like they were stinging him. You could tell that there was some visible damage, a little bit of swelling happening. It's a close first round, but Drakkar Klose won it. In the second round, it's much of the same, and that Drakkar had a much better second round. He's able to hold him up against the cage. Clearly, the total strikes, and then he did hurt him in the second round legitimately. It was like, okay, it's a Drakkar round. The third round, it's like Edson Barbosa did what I thought he could have done maybe a little bit earlier. All of a sudden he stuffs the takedown. All of a sudden he's having spots where he's getting some control time on the ground, that he was able to scramble. He's got more in the gas tank. He's landing the better shots. The total numbers were again similar, but he doubled them up in the significant strikes, and that was a good Edson Barbosa third round. Unfortunately, you're down 2 rounds at this point. Did he get mollywopped in those first 2? The second round, yeah, a little bit. The first round was close. There's a world that exists that maybe Drakkar slowed down a little bit faster, or that maybe Barbosa found a way how to edge one of those first 2 and win the third. It wasn't like it was a rout. But yeah, the Drakkar Klose is obviously the right side. I think Barbosa opened up at like -175, and then by fight time, it was an even money play. So if you got on Drakkar Klose, this was going to be a close fight. It was a fairly close, competitive fight. Klose was the value side. He was the value side. He's a little bit younger. He's a little bit sprier, and he fought a good fight. He fought a good fight as far as I'm concerned. What you do with him in terms of he's 37 and he's not quite ready to fight top 15 guys or top 10 guys of the division, I don't know, but he's an entertainer. He's in entertaining fights. He's well-rounded. He's going to give a problem to a lot of guys. And if you're a legitimate prospect or you're someone that's capable of still hanging with the big boys, then you should beat him. If not, he's a great litmus test for guys. So solid win for Drakkar Klose. Unfortunately, I got a wrong pick on that one. It wasn't the world's most entertaining fight, but I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. What can you do? Tough look for Edson Barbosa, being that this now drops him officially on a 2-fight losing streak. Of course, he generally only loses to top guys, but he's just taken a lot of damage. I don't have enough time on me right now, but absorbs, you just absorbed 53. You absorbed 220 here. You absorbed 178 here, plus a knockdown. You've absorbed 80 against Burgos, 79 against Ige, and 142 against Kevin Lee, 81 against Hooker. If you just combine all of these numbers, even the 10s, even the 11s, there's so many fights that he's had in the UFC that like he's probably absorbed a couple thousand strikes to the head. And he was throwing spinning back kicks in this fight a little bit. you could tell it's like, this is not Edson no more. Edson used to be fast and snappy and explosive. And the crazy thing is he's shot to bits right now, and he's still good enough to hang and win a third round fairly convincingly. And like, he's like an ageless wonder. But unfortunately, everyone ages at some point. Edson just looked like he lost a step or two. Still a good fight, but unfortunately not the right side. Anyways, let's talk about a bad pick. Let's talk about a bad pick that's not just bad, but it was unlucky as well, but just did not work out the way it was in my head. Chase Hooper versus Alexander Hernandez. Obviously with Chase Hooper's build being tall, skinny, kind of got that nerdy guy's length. He's got a lot of leverage, and he trains hard, and he's improved in a lot of areas, and he's definitely developing, but one would wonder if a short, stocky, muscular, powerful guy is not going to be able to give him problems. Hernandez, in theory, going into the fight, does have all of those intangibles. He is physically strong. He is a stocky guy. He has decent power. Hasn't necessarily knocked out anybody notable in a while, but we always go back to that Beneil Dariush fight where it's like he steams him. He absolutely steams him. He's also got a decision win over Olivier Aubé-Mercier. When he was at his best, this guy's a problem. We just haven't seen the best from him in a while. Flip side to that, Hooper's been getting better fight to fight and building some momentum. And so to me, they were meeting at that crossroads in the road where, Hernandez is slipping. He's not becoming irrelevant, but there's less excitement for him. And when he does win, it's not exactly the most convincing. And it's over some lower level guys like Hollaba in his last fight. Maybe there's enough reasons to just go the other way. And Hooper, yeah, I've been really convinced that Hooper's been doing some good stuff. What happened in this fight was Chase came out with some good looking striking in that it looked pretty solid. He's throwing kicks up the middle. He's throwing a nice right hand, pretty snappy little head kick that he throws here and there. Yeah, he's the longer guy. He's the bigger guy, but he's not fighting like a tall fighter. He's not trying to set up a jab and use some weapons. He's not waiting for Hernandez to close that distance and try to hit him and maybe looking to counter or meet him in the middle. He's looking to dog Alexander Hernandez. He's constantly moving forward. He's constantly being the aggressor. So I think Hernandez in his camp, who came up with a brilliant game plan of just let this guy get over anxious, let this guy get overextended, and when he steps in, we're going to plant him with the right hand. That was a great game plan. Even though he's getting outworked, you could tell he was looking to set up the one big shot, and he had a noticeable power advantage over Hooper. Where Hooper went wrong, or like where I knew it was more than just, I got clipped, lucky punch, it was the 2 takedown attempts. Hooper was going to live or die by these takedowns. Yeah, you're capable of throwing up superior volume, but you're not a striker. You're not going to cleanly win the strike for 15 minutes, the fight by striking for 15 minutes. It's going to be an uphill battle. Taking him down, grappling him, that's what's really going to solidify this win and making him a top ticket play. When he shot the first one, he came nowhere close. When he shot the second one, he was way far out, half committed, shot at an ankle just to maybe create a scramble. And when Hernandez backed out, it was like, shit. Now he's going to be forced to stand. And even though you can see he is outstriking him 20-17, he's missing a whole lot, 24% to 44%. But I mean, there's activity going on here. It looks good that you're constantly moving forward and throwing, regardless of missing. It's the Hernandez is biding his time. He's landing half of, if he throws 2 punches, essentially one's landing. He's waiting. He's waiting for you to come forward. He's waiting for you to get desperate on a takedown attempt. He's waiting for you to drop your hands for a second to try to engage him. Hooper landed a couple decent shots. There was a couple decent, oh man, this kid's striking is getting better. But without the takedown, it felt like it was a matter of time. Unfortunately, that matter of time happened like with 2 seconds left in the round. Herzog could have let the kid go a little bit, but unfortunately, your job is to protect these guys. Herb would have let him die if need be, but Herzog, he's been taking some flack lately. So even though there was only 2 seconds, it's a referee's job not to say, well, the round's almost done, I'll let him go. It's to say he's not intelligently defending himself. And in that regard, he wasn't exactly intelligently defending himself. He was getting walloped there by Hernandez, and they saw fit to jump in. Had the second round started, is it possible that Hernandez would have started to slow down and became less effective? Yes, of course. Hernandez does slow. Is it possible that Chase Hooper might have eventually gotten to the ground? Of course. I needed the round to end and regroup in the second. The round didn't end. I got knocked out with 2 seconds left. So as much as it's like not a good pick, I don't think it was the world's worst pick. And then, yeah, he got caught. The fight didn't really get time to marinate. He was doing okay. He walked into a big counter right hand, dems to breaks. That's the fight game. It wasn't like he got outclassed top to bottom like Alibi Idris. This guy got outclassed top to bottom. That's a bad pick. Chase Hooper, he just, got unlucky. Unlucky. Moving on, Lupita Godinez versus Jessica Andrade. This one's an interesting one simply because, when Paul and I broke down the fight midweek, Lupita Godinez was like a 2-1 favorite. And then, like, all the rest of since Tuesday to Saturday, there was a lot of money that came in on Jessica Andrade. The narrative being that when she loses, it is to top girl almost always. In fact, always, not even almost always. It's always to top girls and oftentimes up at 125 pounds. So her coming back to 115 made it interesting. Loopy's someone that wins, but usually doesn't win by a wide margin. Therefore, a betting underdog like Andrade coming back down to 115 makes a whole lot of sense. It was clearly the value side. This fight was likely going to decision. Why not have, the good plus money play? And Andrade fought like it was a close fight. It was a competitive fight. She almost sprung it, but Loopy was just a little bit ahead of her. The first round, it's like Loopy's using some volume and she's catching Andrade trying to come in. The first 3 minutes of the round, I thought Andrade was just very complacent and trying to find her range. But the last minute of the round, Andrade is dogging her. She looks like John Lineker with a wig on. Moving forward, it's all winging punches. It's all hooks. She doesn't throw a jab. She doesn't throw a straight right. Everything is just a hook from the left, a hook from the right, constantly move forward, constantly chase you around. Doesn't cut off the angles. Just chases you around and tries to get you walk into one of these big punches. So Loopy found a good way of just keeping everything straight and landing more shots. But the bigger shots were from Andrade. Not so much bigger that you're going to give the round to her, but she's still in this fight. Second round, she comes out looking to do the same thing, but Godinez just timed the takedown. She's able to take her down, get some control time, land some decent ground and pound. You can see she doubles her up in the total strikes. She doubles her up in the significant strikes. Lupita's up 2 rounds. And then the third round, Jessica Andrade comes alive. It's similar in a way to an Edson Barbosa. Here's a fighter that at one time was a champion. Barbosa was never a champion. He never even fought for a title. No, the Pettis fight wasn't for a title. In Andrade's case, she's won a championship, but you're an older fighter who at one point was a very explosive Brazilian with massive power. And just, it's not even like you're super old. She's 34. Barbosa's 38. It's just, you've had a lot of fights, a lot of wars, a lot of compounded damage, and yet you can still win. You still got gas in the tank. It's just you're a slow starter. By the third round, she came alive, just like Edson Barbosa came alive by the third round. It's just you're in an 0-2 hole, so now you need a finish, and it didn't materialize. Lupi shot 6 takedowns in that round, never even came close. Jessica Andrade was able to just back her up, land shots. Some of them were hurting her, but it's not enough to finish. And without a finish or a brutalized 10-8 round, you're already in the hole, and that's what happened. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Andrade, and again, if this is a 5-round fight, maybe she beats Godinez. And if it's a 5-round fight, maybe Edson Barbosa beats Drakkar Klose. But these are 3-round fights in the prelims of a card, and you got to find a way to get off to a quicker start. And because you're not as fast as you used to be, these quicker athletes, they get the jump on you. By the third round, your experience takes over, that veteranship takes over, but you're already finding out of a hole. Loopy didn't show me anything crazy, but it was a solid win. It's a solid win versus a Jessica Andrade who's at 115, which means something. And for Andrade, she showed she can still hang with the top 10 girls of the division, but he's a former world champion that now is a bottom feeder on a prelim card, and it's not going to improve all that much. You'll see both of them back, and they'll be in entertaining fights, but it's a win for Lupita Godinez. It is what it is. Meerschaert versus, Mikey Oleksiejczuk, who spent 8 weeks at the Fighting Nerds, was supposed to be reinvented, and I mean, it looked good. And the thing with Mikey O is like when he wins, this is how he wins. John Vellante, yeah, he made it a minute and a half. Antigulov, 44 seconds. Modestas Piskauskas was a decision, and that's the only guy that's made it past the first. Shamil Gamzatov knocked down the first. Sam Alvey knocked down the first. Cody Brunridge knocked down the first. Chidi and Jaquani knocked down the first. Cedric Dumas knocked down the first. This is what he does, man. But being able to grapple a little bit, being able to stuff a takedown, being able to be patient, that's what he's always lacked. He's always had power. Guy's got huge power. He's got a no contest versus Khalil Roundtree in his UFC debut at 205 pounds, which he won. Turned out he was on steroids and got a no contest out of it. But otherwise, he took him down and outstruck him. It was like some pretty solid stuff. Point being, let's roll back to present time. He doesn't have a good game plan most of the time. and he just finds ways to get beat. There's no knockdown in this Kevin Holland fight, but if you watch it back, he drops Kevin Holland and then he jumps on top of him and he gets armbarred. This fight with Gerald Meerschaert, he knocked Meerschaert down, and then it's like he could have jumped on top of him and got pounding, but it was like, no, I'm going to back away and allow Meerschaert to stand up. Meerschaert stands up. You can see there's only one knockdown. It's like Meerschaert just fell to the canvas knowing there's too much heat coming my way. And then the second time, he was just like, screw it. I'm going to get on top this time and pound you. And just a couple hammer fists get through. Referee sees enough. Gerald Meerschaert's done. It's a big win. It's a big win. He didn't show you that he's stuffing, high-end takedowns. Meerschaert did shoot 3, but this is an older version of GM3 that's not the most physically strong guy. And similar to older veterans that we've been discussing about how they're good in third rounds, Meerschaert usually takes a beating in the first round or two, and then he can capitalize if you slow down. This was just not a fight that was going to get out of the first round or two, and unfortunately, that was it. You can't say that Mikey O's reinvented. You can say, though, is that he's fighting more patient. He's getting in good work with an excellent gym, quality sparring partners, ground game improving. He's got a brother that's going to be in the UFC very soon as well. I think he's most definitely trending in the right direction. And it's nice to see a guy lose 3 fights. It's not nice to see a guy lose all the time. It's nice to see a guy who has lost 3 fights say, I'm not done. I'm going to change camps. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try to improve the skills that I've been lacking at this point and then get success out of it. Cedric Dumas is a bum, right? Guys, you can beat a guy like that. GM3, he's not a world beater, but it's a nice win. It's a veteran win. It's a guy with some tenure in the division. It's a guy that went 3, certainly 2 hard rounds with Reiner de Ridder and then got finished in the third, but was somewhat competitive with him. Just went 3 rounds with Brad Tavares, beat Edmund Shabazian, who's kind of on a bit of a roll. This is not a bad opponent, and you made him look like he was at the end of his rope done. So quality victory for oh baby Mikey O. Clearly, I should have put him on the top with Khamzat Chimaev, but it was like, hey, this is a tough fight. You're coming off a win over Dumas. You're 1-3 in your last 4 fights. You got to show me a little bit more. He showed you a little bit more. How they match this guy remains to be seen. If they match him with a stout grappler, I don't know that I love him. If they continue to give him strikers, especially a guy with durability issues, this guy's going to be just fine. And this was definitely another step towards that. Eric Nolan versus Bangasur Suraev. Yes. Interesting fight. Interesting fight in the sense that Eric Nolan's supposed to get smoked. And he's coming in as a giant underdog. I took the over 1.5 round. 1.5 round because Eric Nolan he's got 3 losses, 2 of them by split decision. He has been finished 1 time by rear naked choke, just under that 1.5 minute mark. But hey, he's durable. He wrestled in college. He's a CFFC champ. I don't mind him. I do not think he's going to win this fight, but I think he can get over the 1.5 round mark. So that's kind of what I went with. And then obviously Suraev is supposed to win, so he ends up on parlays. The first round, Suraev's smiling. He's having a time. He takes Eric Nolan down a couple times. He's out grappling him. They stand back up, and then Nolan just clips him with a big old right hand. At this point, this kid's wobbled. He backs to the cage. Nolan fires off some other good shots. The round ends. He smiles, but it's one of those smiles like, oh shit, right? Maybe I shouldn't have taken this fight after winning on Contender Series on Tuesday. Maybe I shouldn't have, overlooked this Eric Nolan kid who I thought at 7-3, taking the fight on a week's notice, coming up a weight class from 170, was going to be a walkthrough. Nolan gave him a good go in the first. Again, he got taken down twice. He got control, but he survived. He stayed out of harm's way. He worked his way back up, and he made it count standing. He landed with some decent power. He had this guy absolutely rocked. Most of his wins in CFFC are by knockout, and Suraev felt that power. Once Suraev walks back to the corner, he collapses on the stool. I don't even know if he sat on the stool. He might have just sat right on the canvas. It's not a good look visually. Second round, he obviously fixed something. He lands a kick to Nolan's leg, and it maybe hurts the knee. The first one, you can see Nolan just steps gingerly on it. The second one, he physically grabs the knee like something blew out of it. That causes him to fall. You can see there's no takedown. He falls to the ground from the leg kick, and then Suraev jumps on him and beats the crap out of him, opens up the neck, grabs the choke, submits him, gets the win. If Nolan's knee doesn't blow out, who knows how this fight would have gone. He was very competitive in the first round. Unfortunately, it's not a fluke. He blew his knee out. It was the kick. It was the kick. And you know this because he got hurt in the first round by a body kick. And of course, Suraev literally just won on Tuesday by booting Murtaza Tala, sorry, in the leg, in the gut right away, puts him down. This kid obviously kicks like a mule. And when he kicked the knee a few times, he did some damage. I don't know if there's long lasting damage to the knee or if it was just, oh my God, this hurts a lot. I'm in pain. The way he grabbed the knee like that. My buddy was saying is like, I think he played possum. He grabbed the knee and then as Suraev steps in, he lets go and launches a nice left hand. But I can't imagine your brain was like, I'm going to, I don't know. It would be a dope move if it worked, by the way, but it didn't. I think he was legitimately hurt. He fell to the ground. Suraev jumps on and takes over from that point on. Is this guy a good prospect? Absolutely, right? He's still young. He's still developing. He's a training partner of Khamzat Chimaev, so you know he's going through hell and back on a day-to-day basis. He's got a lot of good things going his way. Just maybe sometimes fighting 4 days apart isn't making weight twice in the same week, and he won, and there was a lot of good stuff to look for. But Eric Nolan, I think, was equally impressive in that he took the fight on ultra short notice and he moved up from 170. This guy gets a full camp and his knee's not bummed, and he fights a welterweight. Even though is he 8-4? I thought he was 7-4. Even with an 8-4 record, like that ain't pretty. That ain't pretty. But really, this guy actually showed a lot of good qualities, and will most definitely be back. Just the winner that night was Beisang Suraev. Tim Elliott versus Kai Asakura. Of all the fights on the card, and I understand Hooper got melted in the first, and I understand some things didn't work out as good as you thought that they might. This is the one I'm most disappointed in that I should have saw it coming. The reason I didn't take Tim Elliott is Tim hadn't fought in almost 2 years, and he's older, and it's a flyweight fight. And when do you ever take an older flyweight? And Tim's had some injuries, and Asakura is definitely a better striker. And the reason why it kills me in hindsight is one, yeah, Tim has the style to give guys problems. This guy's got a win over Takir Ulanbekov where he out wrestled him in spots and knocked him down, and he can strike, and he's quirky, and his timing's weird, and he's an absolute gamer top to bottom, and he's gonna fight for your dollar as long as he can. But when his cardio's not good, it's really not good. When it is good, this guy can hang with the best guys in the world. He took a round off Demetrius Johnson after winning the Ultimate Fighter as a gatekeeper at the time. He's super talented, but he's a little bit hit and miss with his inconsistency. That's not the reason why I'm upset that I missed out on him. Not that he had the style to win. Not that, he's a 50-50 guy and this wasn't line 50-50. It's that, yeah, it's minus 300 Asakura for a flyweight fight. Flyweight fights are always close, man. They're always competitive. And Tim obviously had the skills to win. It's just a little bit of the narrative with the injury and the layoff. And Asakura's a great striker. Blah, 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 blah. It's a flyweight fight. Should have never paid up at minus 300 for that spot. The first round, it wasn't like Kai wasn't doing good. It's just the takedown was money. Like on the feet, he's definitely better than Elliott. And if it was to be a striking battle, he would have defeated Elliott. Landed some good right hands, a little bit of swelling starting to form up on the eye. But then Timmy gets the takedown. And what Timmy does is he gets takedowns near the ends of the round or a little bit later into the round. He stands with you for a bit. He gets you thinking he's going to strike with you. He gets you moving his feet. Then he shoots that takedown. It catches them off guard. First round, that was it. It was a high Asakura round up until Tim got the takedown. At that point, rides out some top control, lands some decent ground and pound. Again, he got it right at the end of the first round, only got 49 seconds of control time out of it, but it's a great way to punctuate a round. You get some last minute ground and pound in, all of a sudden you've outstruck him, you've taken him down, you had some control time, you win a round. So Timmy just veteran play, kudos to him. Second round, I think he realized after the takedown in the first was like, oh, I can take this guy down. Not easy, but with relative ease. And once I'm on the ground, I know I'm better than him. And that was exactly it. As soon as he got that second round takedown, he's just way ahead of a guy like Kai Asakura. The step over to the mounted guillotine, beautiful. He baits him into trying to scramble to grab the guillotine, then switches it to a mounted guillotine. And then you can see Asakura is doing all the right things. He's trying to push on the hip. He's trying to alleviate some of that pressure. Tim is got a nasty guillotine. I wouldn't say live or die by it, but like he's a very physically strong guy when he grabs the neck. And although it's maybe a little bit short here and there for submissions, it's mostly when he grabs a hold of your neck and is able to just start squeezing on this thing. You could tell it was tight right from the get-go. Asakura tried to remain patient, and credit to him, he remained patient in this choke for a decent amount of time. It's just eventually I cannot breathe. My brain is about to start getting foggy. The room is starting to close up on me. I have to tap. Quality stuff by Tim Elliott. And again, because he's a little bit older, you got to fast track him to give him the biggest fights possible. Clearly, he's capable of hanging with them. He almost beat Muhammad Mokaev. He just beat Kai Asakura. He got a win over Tigir Limbekov. The young guys that are supposed to be the future of the division are still struggling mightily with old man Tim Elliott. So cool to see, man. Cool to see. You like to see the old dog win. Just unfortunately, he wasn't my pick this week, and so it wasn't cool to see to lose money because losing money is never a fun experience. But yeah, Timmy's got that absolute dog in him, and if you're a Timmy Elliott better, you're on his side this week. I mean, sharp shit, dude. You had the style to make it happen. You had confidence in your boy. And pulled off a quality win. Quality win. Jared Cannonier versus Michael Paige. I did take Jared Cannonier. I took Jared Cannonier by decision plus 300. I thought he could win the fight. Thought he could win the fight, and I'm not going to sit here and apologize and say it was a bad pick. I don't think it was, and I think he can win this fight against Michael Venom Page. It's one of these you need to get going with the takedowns earlier. We needed the takedowns earlier. I understand Michael Page is very elusive. I understand it takes time to make those adjustments, but this is not a fight that if they fight 10 times, Michael Venom Page beats Jared Cannonier all 10 times. It's not. And Lupi versus Andrade is similar. And Edson Barbosa versus Drakkar Klose is similar. You can win the fight. It's just fighting out of an 0-2 hole is too much. Michael Venom Page is a genius. He's a genius in the sense that I don't think his striking is honestly next level, just tremendous, unbelievable striker, the best. I don't think his grappling is that good. I don't think it's that he is a genius mentalist. He plays games. He causes traps. He causes uncertainty. There's no doubt about it. He's fast. There's no doubt about it. He's got power in his hands. There's no doubt about it. He's an elite striker. I just don't think he's the end all be all. It's that it's all trickery. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all baiting you. Yeah, he's using his footwork and his speed to just cause Jared Cannonier to try to track him down. And it's a lot of flim-flam bullshit. He's hardly even throwing all that much, right? By the first round, he had landed, he threw 20 strikes the whole round, landed 11 of them. They're all significant. There's not totals. Everything he throws is 0 to 100 right away. It's that it's a lull. It's a lull. It's a lull. Now you get desperate or you get frustrated or you get into a spot where you're like, I got to track this guy down. I got to make this fight happen. I got to do something. So now you're going to start dogging him. You're going to start putting your hands down and walking forward, and you're leaning on a big power punch. I'm going to crack him. And it's tempting because his hands are down by his sides. And he's doing a goddamn little shuffle. And he's posing for a selfie right before he punches you in the face. Like, it is tough to get a beat on the rhythm. But what happens is that as you're just moving forward, he's landing the big moment, and the moments are few and far between. It's not like he landed 30 significant strikes and you landed 20, and it's Cannonier landed some and he landed some. It's not like that. You landed 2, he landed 10, he landed the best, and that quick little shot, it lands good. There's no credited knockdowns, but they felt like they were knockdowns in the sense that he would land a quick 2 shots. All of a sudden, Cannonier's, holy shit, I didn't see that one coming. Is he hurt? Not hurt, but he's surprised. It's like a slip. It's like it caught me off balance. Just excellent gamesmanship, man. God damn, the guy understands the art of war. But so anyways, Cannonier shot the 3 takedowns, and I thought that's why he would win. Not back this guy down, not outland him, not have better volume, not knock him out with a big power shot. I really thought that the takedowns would be the path for Jared Cannonier. He shot 3, he got none of them. The 2 minutes and 10 seconds of control time looks good, especially if there was a takedown and you were on top for 210. But it's 210 up against the cage. And then when you separate, you've not landed shit up against the cage. A few knees to the thigh, I can appreciate that, but they don't get counted as significant strikes. And then as soon as you separate, he dazzles you with, a quick little 2-punch combination, and it's the biggest moment of the round. The second round was the exact same thing. He only outstruck him 11-10. Jared Cannonier got one takedown. Jared Cannonier got 2 minutes of control time. If you're looking at a stat line, we've got same amount of significant strikes, same amount of total strikes, a takedown, and almost 2 minutes of control time for Cannonier. He could have won that second round, but the moment of the second round was 1, 2, 3 punch combination, and he's gone again. And it looked good. It looked good. Cannonier is like, God damn, this guy just smacked me with 3 nice, clean punches to the chin. And now I got to go back to trying to track him down and trying to hold him up against the cage and trying to complete a takedown. But this is not a blowout second round. It's close. It's just Michael Paige had that one little moment, and that gives it to him. I agree. It's 2 rounds for Michael Venom Paige, and Cannonier does what I thought Cannonier was capable of doing right from the get-go, which is get the goddamn takedown. And as you can see, as soon as he got it, 4 minutes and 8 seconds. Now, it's a little bit misleading. It wasn't like it was a clean takedown. Oh, Jared, why didn't you do that earlier? Michael Venom Paige kind of half slipped. It's like he closed the range, and then I think he was off balance. But Cannonier capitalized, and at no point does Michael Venom Paige have a get-up game that he can stand back up. He got styled by Cannonier, and that Cannonier mounted him 3 times. Styled's a little bit tough of a way to say it. He got clearly out-grappled, but his defensive grappling is decent. He got mounted 3 times, and every time he's able to move back to half guard. He's able to shrimp, create space, get the leg, and now you have to go back to rebuilding. Okay, now I have to push the leg back. Now I've got to cut through. Now I've got to step back over to mount, and then he's able to re-guard again. Not full guard, but he's able to get back to half guard, which allows this process to start back over again. Where Cannonier fucked up is he's down 2 rounds. Yeah, the second round was close-ish. You lost it. You know this. He kept going through the submissions. He looked for a head and arm choke. He's looking to maybe frame up a Kimura at one point. Dog, you mounted him 3 times. You got to punch him out. You're a big power puncher. You're down 2 rounds. Submitting him is taking time. You have to set these moves up. The clock is bleeding. I need you to pound. Even if you cannot knock him out in this third round, if you're smashing him with elbows the whole time, I can get a 10-8. We can get a 10-8, Jared. We can get a draw. I'll get my money back, which I'm cool with. And you still only get half your money, I'm sure. Maybe they pay you for a draw. I don't know. Maybe the fighter gets his win bonus. I doubt it. I don't know. No one lost. No one won. That's a weird one. I should look into that. At the same time, it wouldn't have been a loss on your record. I'm sure people would rather have their hand raised with their opponent than lose and have your opponent celebrate. My point that I'm making is that Jared had moments to win this fight. The second round wasn't an absolute wash. The third round, he got the top control, 4 minutes. The whole fight, he had 8 minutes and 14 seconds of control time. He only got outlanded by 9 significant strikes. He had 8 minutes and 14 seconds. The total strikes, he outstruck Michael Venom Paige. The moments, dog. The moments. And so MVP's not elite in my books, man. And I hope that the next time he fights, he's another big favorite and I have a decent underdog because I'll fade him again. This is one of those fights where if they fought 10 times, we'd get different outcomes. Unfortunately, there was just one. And the outcome was a couple good little spots by Michael Venom Paige won it. And I'm not shitting on his performance. It was so smart. This guy's very smart. And because he's a little bit older and he has that tricky style, why would you stand in the middle and throw down? Why would you allow yourself to get taken down? Why would you allow... I don't know. He fought really good game plan. And you can't take that away from a guy. You can never take that away from a guy. Jeff Neal versus Carlos Prates. Jeff Neal is another underdog shot that I went with. Lower than Cannonier, but I just thought that he'd have a decent volume game. Move forward, try to get him moving backwards. Carlos Prates at time can be a little bit gun shy, so to speak. Yeah, it just wasn't meant to be. Carlos Prates is a big guy. Jeff Neal was trying to move forward on him, but it's like when you move forward on a guy that's a power puncher, you're constantly coming into his range and getting hit. So now it's like, well, fight smart, like a Ian Gary Machado. It's like, well, that's really not Jeff Neal's style. Jeff Neal's style is to come forward and try to dog you, but spinning back elbow landed by Prates. Just a beautiful shot that you don't see often. Although I'm working my way back up to, there was another one in the next fight. But just, yeah, beautiful technique. Beautiful technique. You allow this guy to be the aggressor. You know that he's going to be coming in. You know that he's going to be trying to lead the dance and get in your face, and just allow him to be over aggressive. You slight to turn. He thinks you're giving up his back. He walks into it, right? In many ways, Alexander Hernandez didn't spin, but in many ways, it's like the game plan was this guy is going to be aggressive. In fact, he's going to be ultra aggressive to a fault. He's going to be coming forward to a fault that we just need to come back, plan, meet him when he's not expecting it, and then deliver the big shot. Prates was already winning the round, don't get me wrong, but he knew Neal was like, okay, I got to get through this range. I mean, the reach from Carlos Prates at 78 inches. It's like you can't hang out on the outside. So it's like I gotta get to the inside. And when Neal tried to do that, yeah, he just walked right into the spinning back elbow. It was a sick finish. Carlos Prates nukes SIGs and then he nukes human beings. He's a fan favorite. At 31, is the knockout is always on the table. This guy's capable of knocking out anybody, it seems like. Just can he headline fights in 5 rounders against top guys? Maybe. He had a moment against Machado. He had a, why do I call him Machado? His name's Ian Gary. I hate that he had to take that goddamn wife's middle or wife's surname. Yeah, he had a moment against Gary, and Gary's a top 5 guy in the division. So like, yeah, maybe he can go and have a moment against a Shavkat Rakhmonov, or maybe he could have a moment against a Bilal Muhammad. But yeah, because he's got so much power, what's to stop him from knocking out a Bilal Muhammad? Or what's him stopping from knocking out Jack Madalena or someone like that? Like, he's capable of knocking out anybody, and that's always going to make him a threat. I don't know that he has the grappling. I don't know that he has deep cardio, but he's a fan favorite with a very fan-friendly style. And as long as you keep knocking out guys, the opportunities in the big money fights and the high-profile spots will all present themselves. And so, yeah, the only advice for Carlos Prates is just keep doing what you're doing. For Jeff Neal, it's a tough one. You know, you're starting to get a little bit older, but it's also just inactivity, you know. He hadn't fought since October, so basically coming up on a year, not quite a year, but coming up on a year. That fight had lasted a minute and a half. Then he had a few injuries that kept him on the sidelines. When they're paying you some decent money, you got to fight the good guys. And the tough part for him is like his losses. Carlos Prates is, let's say, a top 5 or 6 guy in the division, and Ian Gary is a top 3 to 5 guy in the division. And Shavkat Rakhmonov is a top 1 or 2, maybe not number 1. He's another champ, but he'd be a top 2 or 3 guy in the division. Neil Magny was the gatekeeper to the stars. Stephen Thompson's a 2-time world title challenger who back in 2020 was still Wonder Boy, not Wonder Man. He got a win over Bilal Muhammad. He's fought in good guys. He's beaten some good guys. It just lately he's failing to get over that hump of the top 3 to top 5. Now he can be very serviceable as a gatekeeper type. I don't want to call him a journeyman, but a gatekeeper where it's like, hey, the guys that are beating Jeff Neal are the guys able to jump into title contention, which is very fair. But not everybody wants to live their life being constantly taking on hot up and coming guys and knockout specialists and being a litmus test. He is 34. He's made some money. He's had some injuries. Maybe the end is getting near for Jeff Neal. Aaron Pico versus Lerone Murphy. You know, even a broken clock is right twice a day, so I had to get at least something right. And Lerone Murphy beat Aaron Pico. This one pains me in that Pico, my boy. And this loss does nothing to change my perception that Aaron Pico is the absolute man. The problem is that at some point you have to come to the realization that Aaron Pico loses in these big spots. Jeff Neal has a couple big wins, and then he's lost in some big spots. But even when he loses, he's almost always competitive. He gave Rakhmonov a hell of a time in round 2. He held very good guys to split decisions like Ian Gary. And sometimes it happens. In this spot, Pico, when Pico loses, he's out. He's all the way out. Lost his debut against Zach Freeman in 24 seconds of the guillotine. They don't got a line listed, but he was like a 10 or 12 to 1 favorite. When he lost to Henry Corrales, he lost in a minute and 7 seconds into the first round. And he was a minus 585 favorite over him too, by the way. When he lost to Adam Borix, they got no line or anything set up. And I guess he made it to the second round in that fight, but it was a glorious flying knee that just... The Corrales overhand right, it's like, holy, he goes out like just Jesus on the cross, just hands at his side, hits the deck. It's like, oh man, it's visually nasty knockout. The Adam Borik's flying knee is visually, it's a nasty knockout. Jeremy Kennedy, it was a shoulder separation, but he's a minus 700 favorite. When this guy loses, it's usually in the first round, round and a half, usually in spectacular fashion, and usually in a fight that he is a favorite in. So Lerone Murphy, my dad actually watched I haven't watched fights with my dad in maybe 2 years. The kids, you're busy and you got a million things going on and life gets in the way. And I love my dad and I've been meaning to catch up with him. It just never worked out. So I had a buddy come down. My brother came down. My dad's there. This is awesome. And I want to fight with my dad. And Lerone Murphy's walking out and they say Lerone Murphy's coming out. He's taking the fight on short notice, and Aaron Pico's this big star that's just got signed over, and Lerone Murphy's trying to crash his party. And my dad made something that really stuck in my head, or he said something that really stuck with me. He goes, the guy's undefeated 16-0, and he had to take a fight on short notice. And I'm thinking, like, holy fuck, yeah. I guess when you say it like that, it's kind of weird. Lerone Murphy is 34 years old. He's on a 21 fight win streak. His record in the UFC is perfect 9-0 with a draw, sure, but that draw, he got 10-8'd in the first. And then he beats Zubaira Tuhugov rounds 2 and 3, Khabib's boy, on short notice in his UFC debut after getting 10-8'd in the first round. And the fight happened in Abu Dhabi, which is Russian territory. This guy's done everything right. He's beaten the guys you put in front of him. Edson Barbosa was supposed to be a big name at the time. He's on the back end. And then Dan Ige is a gatekeeper to the stars, and you beat him. You passed that test. Josh Emmett was on a nice little roll, had just deaded Bryce Mitchell with one of the nastiest knockouts you'll ever seen, and has been competitive with everybody. Josh Emmett has fought Ilya Topuria and Yair Rodriguez and Bryce Mitchell and Calvin Kattar and Dan Ige, and he's a perennially top guy. Lerone takes him out as well. Doesn't take him out finish sense, but won the fight fairly convincingly. If you look at it on a numbers standpoint, Lerone Murphy had landed, because people say it was a boring fight. I was like, yeah, he doubled him up, 84-4. The 4 takedowns was 4 takedowns on 11 attempts, and you gave up less than a minute every time you got taken down. There's great things to like about Lerone Murphy. He's now been fighting in your organization since debut in 2019, September of 2019, which means he's coming up on 6 years with your promotion. He's riding a 21 fight winning streak, because this goes back to his undefeated amateur record. He done everything right. And yet he's forced to take a fight on short notice and comes in as a betting underdog to Aaron Pico for no other reason than Pico's supposed to be the man. Pico is supposed to be the man. And I'm one of the guys that drums up that narrative. His wrestling is masterclass. Guy could have been an Olympian. Freestyle, his athleticism, fast twitch muscle, very quick. He's a professional. He's the most professional guy. He takes his camps extremely seriously. He drops $40,000 bringing in specified training partners and top jiu-jitsu guys, top striking guys, top Muay Thai guys, top boxers, top whatever. Pico leaves no stone left unturned. He is the complete package. Just for some reason, he keeps losing in these big fights. I talked to my buddy John Ramsey, biggest fight fan you'll meet, one of the solid guys. I respect his opinions, and he just loves Pico as well. So I says to him, what's his biggest win? Justin Lin, Shane Crutchin, Lee Morrison, Leandro Higo, Solo Hatley, my boy, John DeJesus, Aiden Lee, Justin Gonzalez, Adley Edwards, James Gonzalez, Pedro Carvalho, Henry Corrales. He says, yeah, that's a good point. I guess he actually doesn't have a marquee win. There's respectable wins. I love Henry Corrales, who had previously knocked him out. I don't care for Pedro Carvalho, but Justin Gonzalez, Adley Edwards, I like them. But they're not marquee wins. None of those guys are cutting it in the UFC. Well, he's fought 2 guys that could cut it in the UFC, Jeremy Kennedy and Adam Borix. They could both cut it in the UFC. See, he lost both of those fights, though. So he's never beaten a quality guy. And the 2 best guys he's ever fought, he actually lost both of those. And now he's going to jump into the UFC as a betting favorite over Lerone Murphy, who's never lost a fight in his life, is 10-0 in the UFC, or 9-0 in the UFC. has fought legitimate guys as headline cards for them, and he's got to take a fight short notice as an underdog to make it happen. I just felt like when my dad said that, I was like, God damn, they're disrespecting Lauren Murphy. You're right. Check a forum board real quick, and the guy says the problem with Pico is that he can be knocked out, and Murphy ain't knocking out shit. Let's be real, guys. Murphy ain't knocking out shit. Okay, well, Emmett's hard to put away. Ige hard to put away. Edson Barbosa's pretty tenured guy who's hard to put away. Kulabau, Gabe Santos. I get it. It's been a while. He's only got 2 knockout wins in the UFC. It's a low percentage. This is the fight game, boys. The fight game. And sometimes you don't got the big power in your hands to knock a guy out. But if you spin in a circle with a fucking elbow, that shit knocked out anybody. And then that's pretty well what happened. It was honestly, and I sound like a broken record at this point, but this is just game planning. And I love talking strategies with you guys, because the biggest thing is when you break down a fight pre-fight, you're looking at how they strategized and how they game planned against other opponents. We don't know what the game plan is until the cage door closes, because the path of least resistance is not often what they take. There was excellent game plans on this fight, and 3 of them had the exact same game plan, which was Alexander Hernandez. Hooper is going to be over aggressive. He's going to try to be constantly coming forward and get a hold of me. I'm going to wait, plant him with one. And then, of course, same thing with Carlos Prates. I know Jeff Neal is going to try to close the distance because I have the reach advantage. He's going to try to march me down. When this guy overcommits and gets a tad bit too reckless, I'm going to spin one in his face. Murphy did the same thing with Aaron Pico. Aaron Pico, as talented as he is, he's hyper aggressive. He's constantly coming forward. He's breaking you down with pressure alone. And so Murphy, who's not the biggest power puncher, as we just outlined, we know this, he's not going to just cleanly intercept you. He's not going to cleanly land this shot. He knows he can't wrestle with you, but he did an excellent job of getting taken down and popping back up. Did a great job there. And then Pico is foaming on them from the mouth. Pico is a dog on a chain. He wants to go. He wants to go. The chain gets broken. He's going 100 miles an hour. You spin a back elbow in his face. What a good game plan. And it worked. I don't think this hurts. It hurts Pico a lot, tremendously, actually. I don't think it changes who Pico is. You can't say he can't take a punch, although he would be considered chinny at this point. That is true. It's more so just like these spectacular moves knock him out. As a flying knee by Adam Borix, and in this case, a spinning back elbow by Lerone Murphy. What do you want, man? It's a tough game. It really is. As I mentioned, Pico, a couple takedowns, 2 minutes of control time. He's so fast. If he just was like, I'm gonna fight like Hamzat and just never throw a punch standing ever again and only wrestle, this guy could still be a world champion. It's that he's an entertainer. He likes to entertain, and that is what usually gets him in trouble. Is I want to put on a show. Especially being it's your UFC debut and you're the co-main event and it's a big pay-per-view and this crowd in Chicago is hot and they are fight fans and they just got treated to a guy getting knocked out by a spinning back elbow. So now you want to have a great fight too. I gotta up that. Here's the problem. Lerone Murphy thinking the same thing. He was like, shit, that's a good idea. I'm gonna do that too. And he did. And then here's a guy that's 34. Who's won 9 fights in the UFC, 21 fights overall as a win streak. And it's actually 21 fight unbeaten streak because there is a draw. And that doesn't count as a win. So you can't say 21 straight wins. It's a 21 fight unbeaten streak. All the same. This guy that just knocked out Pico as a betting underdog, co-main event. This is a spot. Call for a title fight. Call for this huge spot. Be like, this is his moment. This is his moment. This whole sport is valleys and mountaintops, and he's finally hit this mountaintop moment, and he takes that moment to shout out his training partner that he's like, this is a really good, hardworking guy, and he deserves a spot to be on the UFC or the Contender Series. Please, guys, please give him. How much more? Maybe that's why he's not a star. Maybe that's why people don't care for him, because he's just a humble, good guy. They say nice guys finish last, and Lerone Murphy, maybe he'll get smoked by Volkanovski in a title fight. Maybe somebody's going to come and do something to him. He's been undefeated for this long because nice guys don't always lose and finish last. And Lerone Murphy just knows how to get the thing done. Pico looked good until he didn't. So it's no knock on Pico. It's just this is kind of what happens to him. And then you got Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus du Plessis. So as a purist, it's a good fight. As a fight fan, it's not a good fight at all. It's one-sided traffic. No one likes to see a rout. No one likes to see a fight that is non-competitive pretty well throughout the entire thing. You can appreciate domination. You can appreciate John Jones or George St. Pierre or Khabib Nurmagomedov. You can appreciate those guys 50-45 in guys or 50-44 in guys and just pure domination. There's an appreciation there. But people do want to see violence. And again, I'll bring up my dad again. It's like, we just watched two guys get deaded with spinning back elbows. And now you have to watch 25 minutes of, it's not lay and pray. Those crucifixes were nasty. This guy is so far and away better than everybody else in the division that he can make what is a tough fight look that easy. There's no knock on him. It's the game is hit and not be hit. So Chimaev with a perfect game, with a pitcher, it's like he had a perfect game. He gave up no hits and no runs and didn't walk anybody. This guy basically pitched out a shutout. The fifth round, I will admit, that was Dricus's best round, and he was able to land a few shots, and he got a quick little takedown of his own that was short-lived, and he jumped on a guillotine choke. He's trying to make it happen. He understands he's been losing. But, yeah, outside of that, Chimaev just absolutely routed him. And the question mark with Chimaev being that would he slow down? Would he slow down? But when you're not really exerting that much energy, I don't think you're going to slow down. When you watch his fight with Gilbert Burns, they threw down. In his fight with Kamaru Usman, he 10-8'd Kamaru Usman in the first. He exerted a lot of energy. This wasn't that. This was Roy Nelson on The Ultimate Fighter versus Kimbo, where it's like, I'm just going to go to crucifix, and there's nothing you can do about it. Kudos to Dricus. He got out of more crucifix than you've ever seen anybody get out of, and these were nasty, but 17 takedown attempts, 12 of them landed. Most of them would happen within the first 10 seconds or 15 seconds of the round. The round would end, they'd say fight, he'd come out, he'd blast double. Some guys shoot from too far out, and they don't even come close. This guy sometimes shoots from too far out, and he's in on your hips so goddamn fast. Fighting at 170, I don't know how he made the weight class, but being that he did used to fight at 170, him at 185, he's fast as a middleweight. And clearly, he's the strongest middleweight. So now you can go ahead and ascertain that he might be the strongest and the fastest middleweight. And then how do you beat him? How do you beat him? Well, there's only one way to beat a guy who's a lot faster than you and a lot stronger than you. Puncher's chance, knock him out. And he gives you no puncher's chance. It wasn't like Tim Elliott was like, I'll strike with you for the first 2, 3, 4 minutes, and then I'm going to hit that takedown near the end of the round. He's taking you down right off the hop. What are you going to hit him with to knock him out? 10 seconds into the round, you're on your back. And if you get up, we're going back to the mat. The fight was 25 minutes long and 21 minutes and 40 seconds, which means only 3 minutes and 20 seconds was Dricus du Plessis on his feet. The rest of the time, it's him on his back. It kills the energy. The longer the fight goes, you start to get tired. And then you're like, okay, once this fight's gone, I'm going to bed kind of thing. Not, yeah, let's crack a beer. Dude just got spinning back elbowed in the face. Let's keep this party rolling. It's like Chimaev stole the soul out of du Plessis. And then there was some boos. They were booing. When Dricus got back up, the place went nuts. Like they wanted to see him do something about it. Thing is, can't do anything about him. Dricus' star doesn't get tarnished from that performance. He went 25 minutes with Chimaev. He got up 11 of the 12 times. The fifth round was him just going for it and, landing some okay shots and going for the guillotine choke. Guy's got a takedown over Chimaev. I'm going to go ahead and imagine he's the only... Oh, I think he actually gave up 1, 2. No, you're the only guy that's ever taken this beast of a man down. You're the only guy to ever go 25 minutes with him. There's some admirable stuff, but yeah, you got smoked at the bottom line. And Chimaev, again, it's from the outside looking in, if you're not someone that watched the fight, you're just looking at numbers, you're a stats guy. It's like, dude, you landed 37 significant strikes over the course of 25 minutes. That's really low volume, but actually he landed 529 strikes. They're all just little taps to the face. And well, people will say, well, it's not significant. It's significant, dog. You got punched 529 times. Got to be a record. Just pure domination. 50 45, 50 44, 50 44, 50 44. Doesn't sound so bad. Well, in my opinion, the first round was likely a 10-8 when he outstruck him 131-3 and had 4 minutes and 47 seconds of control time. So that was a 10-8 round in my books. The second round was not, I don't think. Although it was a beatdown, it was not a 10-8 round. The third round was. It was another 10-8 round. He landed a 156-9, another 446 of control time, 3 for 3 on takedowns. You're tossing him. This thing could have also been 50-43. It could have been 50-42. It was a beatdown. It was a beatdown. Yeah. So what is next for Dricus du Plessis? What's the next for Khamzat Chimaev? Well, I mean, Dricus, he can do whatever he wants, right? I mean, no one's gonna say, I don't want to see a Dricus du Plessis fight. It's just they don't necessarily want to see that kind of Dricus fight. He's an entertainer. He flops left, he flops right, and next thing you know, he chokes a guy out, or next thing you know, he knocks a guy out, and he's very fun. And there's a lot of guys. I don't know why I clicked on him specifically. I just wanted the rankings. Obviously, this is not like updated, and because I'm not signed in right now, it'll only give me the first few guys. But yeah, it's like if Drake has fought Imavov, who I understand is fighting Kyle, it's like that's fine, and he can. I don't want to see him fight Strickland again, but he got 2 wins over him. It's fine, and him versus Izzy is a rematch of sorts. I guess he's beaten him. Him versus KO would be fun. Him versus Fluffy Hernandez may look exactly like him versus Chimaev, but it's worth running. Him versus Rainer de Ritter, sign me up for that. I'd love to see that fight. The flip side for Khamzat is who does he fight? So this French guy, well, I get he's an OV, but no, I don't think that is gonna happen, dude. Sean's got good takedown defense. No, I don't think that's gonna happen, dude. Is he? KO's really the only guy because he's got solid grab. Oh, sorry, Fluffy and KO. These are the guys because they've got the grab. Rinner de Ritter, well, he's got grappling. He's big. No, I think he would get trounced. I think he would get trounced. I think Fluffy or KO could maybe have it. And Fluffy's going to need a few more premier wins. And of course, he's always got a big grappling advantage on guys. But what if a guy shot takedowns on Fluffy? What's he going to look like then? Fluffy could shoot takedowns on Khamzat, and I think Khamzat's going to stuff them. The difference is Fluffy fights at a really fast pace, and that may draw out the questionable cardio from Khamzat Chimaev. Without you really pushing the gears on him, I don't know. So Fluffy's got the cardio edge. That makes him interesting. KO is not a better grappler. It's just he's got enough grappling that he could perceivably not even stuff the takedowns. Just, I don't know, make it tricky on the ground. Do what Gilbert Burns did. Make it tricky enough on the ground that we get back standing, and then standing, throw some big shots. I think KO's less competitive against him than Fluffy, but we're scratching, man. We're scratching. It's funny that the number 6 and 7 guy would be more competitive against the current champion than anybody before that, but its styles make fights. And what Chimaev, the reason he's so good is his style is so good. It's better than everybody else. He can go out there and he can take you down. Of course, people know that he can strike, but it's like, Floyd Mayweather can march forward. I seen him move forward against Conor McGregor and beat him up. But when you're taking on actual pro boxers and you're taking on actual credible world champions, fighting defensively is the way to go. George St. Pierre, they called him the pay-per-view king, one of the greatest of all time. He's in the GOAT discussion. Highly boring. A lot of domination, a lot of holding guys down. John Jones, people call him the GOAT, and steroid allegations aside, this is on a strictly personal level. I do not find him to be entertaining. I really don't. When he is entertaining, it's he beats Cyril Gahn, who's got 0 grappling, or he beats a 45-year-old. It wasn't 45, but a getting near your mid-40s Stipe Miocic who hadn't fought in 2 years. Or back in the day, he beat Shogun or Rampage or some older guys that he was able to take advantage of. When he was taking on Anthony Smith or Oven St. Preux or guys like that, it's like he just went through the motions a lot. Dominic Reyes, the list goes on and on. Really, Thiago Santos, which you want a split decision over, just hot garbage. And no one gave him a hard time because he's fighting the winning game plan, and winning solves everything. You want to win. You don't want to always just go out there and have a war and have a fun performance, and we both go to the hospital afterwards, and we got our thumbs up, and we're both going through his CAT scan to make sure that we don't got any brain swelling. Like, who wants to go out like that. A champion, a highest level caliber champion, is going to be fairly risk adverse. And Chimaev did that, dude. Great fight in the sense of domination. Not a great fight in the sense that after the third or fourth round, you just knew what was going to happen every time. All of a sudden, it's you're talking to somebody and you're not glued to the screen. It's, you know, not the world's greatest fight from a strictly I love violence standpoint, but it was pure domination and it was eye opening. This wasn't I dominated the number 6 guy in the division. This was I dominated the number 2 guy in the division. How often does that happen? And Dana was correct in his point in the post-fight press conference where it was like, I thought this would be a lot more competitive than it was. I think everybody expected maybe 2 rounds of domination, and then Dreykus still keeps going, and he's good in the third, and he's good in the fourth, he's good in the fifth. Chimaev's going to slow down. This was a complete package thing, so you can't take that away from him. Quality victory. Unfortunately, 6-6 on the night over the 12 fights wasn't exactly the outcome I was expecting, but yeah, we got a Ming Yang Zhang fight coming up this weekend, so dust it off. Also, Contender Series on Tuesday, so I'd like to get a preview show up for that on Monday. And yeah, that's exactly it. There's tons of fights to bet. Parlays are going to hit, they're going to miss. You just got to make sure when you do hit, it's worthwhile. And when you do miss, you don't feel too bad for yourself. Last week was a good UFC. This week, not so much. Could have been worse. Could have been a lot better. And I had one other thing I want to complain about because I'm a full grown man who complains on Sundays about things. You know it. What was it here? Shared though. Oh, I don't think I even have to share that, do I? I had I had over 1.5 on Eric Nolan versus Sisukayev at plus 175. Nolan got tapped with 29 seconds away from hitting my over. And there was one more. It was the same thing. It's like a few of these fights I lost by like a narrow margin or like a Cannonier by decision. In theory, you don't get stung in the second round. You win it. You win the third. I don't know. Coulda, shoulda, wouldas. And so a lot of the times when I sit here, it's like when the coulda, shoulda, wouldas go your way, you're all happy. Yeah, got the bounce. When the bounce doesn't go your way, you're sad about it. But that's just the game we play and the nature of the business. If you're not a bettor, you just like fights. This is a fun card. And I think that there was a lot of guys that are going to go on for some big career options, good spots. Some guys are going to have to go back to the drawing board. As a whole, I think everybody delivered in their own way. And 319 was a good offering. So not a whole lot of pay-per-views left. I think once they switch to this Paramount deal, you're going to see less marquee cards and more just spread the talent across the board. And so that big fight feel is starting to fall away. But this card had it. And whether the main event lived up to an instant classic, it didn't because it was a one-sided drubbing. And one-sided drubbings are never going to be instant classics. But all around, it got a thumbs up from me. And that's it. So I will see you guys next week. Leave your comments in the comment section if you feel. If not, the guys over on Patreon, join in the Discord. And yeah, there's actually a Fury FC today starting on Fight Pass at 5:30. So instead of feeling sorry for myself, I just got to get back on the wagon and get back to this thing. It's what we do over here on the Bookie Beatdown Network. I appreciate you guys, as always, taking your time on a Sunday to hear little Cody complain. And yeah, hopefully it's more positive next week. See you guys later. That's it from me. Ciao.